Okay. Oh, no, back to dropped frames. Okay. Maybe we're back, though. We're gonna let it run for a tiny bit. Hopefully this is consistent. That's all I want. Uh, sorry, deepest apologies. It is a Monday. It's looking pretty good so far. I think we can switch over to the camera again. I did switch some stuff around. I'm watching that dropped frame count. Uh, yeah. Uh, Again, it's looking somewhat consistent right now, so we're gonna switch back to the main camera. Let me get my whole setup redone over here. Okay, awesome stuff. So, we're gonna move over here. Yeah, we're back to it. Oh, and spoilers for our textures, but I guess it's about texture time. We are doing a, whatever this little guy is called. Here, let's go over to this picture. There are so many pictures of them eating their own tails. It is very strange. But these are, what is it? Oh my gosh, I completely lost them. I'm on the wrong tab, that's why. Ah, here they are. Armadillo lizards. Armadillo lizards. Aren't they insane looking? They look like just horned lizards. Specifically, their scales look awesome. So we're going to be recreating that today. Looking over here, I have multiple sources. I'm going to do the top-down view. I like this little pattern, this little zigzag pattern. Multiple choices for, in fact, we could do more of the tail ones where they have these little spikes to it. A good example is like right here, they have these like, you have your flat and this like tooth almost coming out of it. So we're going to focus on doing those. First, we're going to do some ellipses first. Let me. So I'm going to cut all that previous stuff out of the video. Quick explanation for those who are watching. Um, my internet is awful. I was on call with my internet service provider, so hopefully they'll change some stuff around to get it fixed in the future. But with that being said, we're gonna get back into it. Bit of a bump. It is Monday, but hey, it's good to get these sorted while we can. And of course, the people, it's not early where I am, so the people helping me out on the phone, they were very kind. They were very understanding and straight to the point too. They weren't messing around. They were like, okay, try this, do this, collecting data, fixing things. So I may get a call in the middle of the stream for that internet service provider. I do still have a ticket ongoing. Um, with that being said, though, it looks like switching some of my internet stuff around did temporarily fix it by the recommendation. So we're gonna stick with it. Hopefully it works. And I mean, what can you do about it, right? Nothing will stop us from doing some awesome textures. Also, I got to show my roommate my setup too, and I have been hiding it from. I think I may show it to my roommate, other roommate. I've been hiding it like as a little secret project, but I think I'll show it to him too because I feel like it could be misconstrued as not including them, and I think, you know, it's important to include your friends in things like these. The whole reason I said have it set up as a secret project is many people still don't know in the real world that I draw or that I do things like this. So to come out of nowhere and just be like, oh yeah, here I have all this cool stuff. It's very self-serving. But I think it'd be a cool talking point somewhere in the future. And plus, I just love the idea of documenting my process, and I don't really feel the world to need to tell the world, hey, look at my awesome art. Even though I am kind of doing that by having this channel. Um, but instead, I just want this as an outlet for people to, I say this every stream, spend an hour a day doing something not only that they love, but improves themselves. That's healthy. Whether it be cooking, drawing, music, walking your dog. There's many animals out there that I bet could use some walking. Maybe not in this horrible cold weather, but unless they're huskies. Oh my goodness. I have been really debating getting a dog. Right now I cannot, I don't have like the proper facilities to, man, my ellipses are quite awful today. I don't have the proper facilities to host one, but I've raised a mini dog in my life. Absolutely love them. Family dogs, of course, so it's a joint effort, but at the same time. And just for view bait, I'm gonna leave this little guy. I don't know what to name him. We should name him. Very complex creature. Lots of forms, lots of different shapes going on there. Such an interesting little dude. Oh, what a bumpy start, huh? Could really demoralize you. Let's get back into it though, right? It looks like it's pretty consistent. Only a couple dropped frames. Let me double check that this is going correctly on YouTube, because I don't have. Okay, let's go to the live update. That looks good. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, I will be cutting all that previous stuff out of the VOD. Apologies for those who were here or are here, and had to experience all of that. Had some good line work, not the best ellipses today. And plus, we're out of focus. We kind of said that earlier, but hey. Oh yeah, and to the chat earlier, you'll see it in chat right now, but this was earlier. Haven't done the convergence thing in a really long time. Yeah, me neither. I really need to do it more, because look at this. We have a pretty good convergence right there, but then some craziness right there. This one's almost consistent, except for this sideline, which always kind of tends to be the case, because even over here, we have this kind of wonky sideline, yet this good area over here. So there's typically always one line that is very off for me, which is a hurdle I really want to get over. That's a decent ellipse. Not a circle fully, but there we go. Okay, we did our circles for today, so let's switch over to some texture analysis with our good friend on the right. Yeah, little dude. Oh, they're so adorable. So yeah, I'm going to be doing these spikes. So yeah, these don't have this zigzag pattern to it, but they look more dynamic. They have a lot more going on. So maybe we'll do a kind of a combination. Even these do have a bit of those. You know, those little, I'm gonna call it, teeth sounds weird. Just little spikes, I guess, yeah. That's much easier word for it. So we're gonna do the zigzag little spike. And even though this dude is a very complex creature, with lots of stuff going on, I think he'd fit perfectly in a square, so we're gonna do that. A little swatch. Armadillo swatch. Is that the right word? I think so. Oh wow, completely lost focus. Let's try to fix that. So many different tabs, oh my goodness. There we go, configure video. You've been acting terribly today. All my technology, there must be like a solar flare or something. Let's put this here. I feel like a teacher in university or even in high school who's like messing with their camera settings. Oh, there we go. That's quite nice. Of course, near the 30s, that's typically... I guess it's maybe like... No, that's not even 30 centimeters. Actually, maybe 30 centimeters. Maybe. Maybe it's measured in centimeter distance. Anyways, back to this. So we're going to do our little swatch. Awesome. Bit smaller than... Actually, I'm not sure. So yeah, looking at our little dude here. What do we got going on? So like before, I threw it away last night, which was my bad because... Actually, wait. I have a trash can right here. Let's recycle. I probably have some spare paper in here or something. Is this it? That is not it. Just a lot of sparkling water cans. I don't think that's too useful. I think Minnie would agree. So we're going to do this little example again because I love it so much. We're going to represent our scale like this. We're going to do a big old X over here. And that X represents the more shaded part of it, right? So if our scale is like this, looking at the scale straight on, kind of like maybe right here-ish, you don't see much shadow. We'll be a bit realistic. So there's that shadow right here. Here, I'll do it like on the camera. Right here, there's a shadow. And of course, as it rotates away from us, we see more and more of the shadow and less of this top part. And same thing going down here. You know, we see less of the shadow and then eventually none of it, right? And then the next one starts putting the shadow. If there's another fold above this, it would be placing its shadow upon that. So what we're seeing here is these that are really flat and towards us, we don't see much of a shadow underneath. Yet look how big this shadow is, because it's pointed away from us. It's a lot like this. So we'll embrace that ideology going forward and do some awesome stuff. So yeah, we got the zigzags going on. We have about 1, 2, 3, 4-ish of these scales. They aren't completely flat, right? They're tilted, like we said earlier. And then the middlemost scale has this kind of plum shape to it, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. It looks like there's a batch of scales underneath the other side too, or that could just be the under part of the scale. And then we have these little spikes. So we could add that to the side of our form. Let's pick where we're going to actually do this. We do need to do some circle forms while we're at it, or insides of forms, but we'll worry about that tomorrow. Let's set our hour timer too. We've definitely gone over, but tonight's going to be a bit of a late night. I apologize once again. So set our hour timer. Here we go. If we go over, I'll take maybe like 10 minutes off of it because we have been doing quite a bit behind the scenes. Take a quick water break. So this is going to be a pretty fun and intricate texture. I say we do it right here. That would not be too bad. Because I'll leave this texture and this texture right here. Because so far, let's recount our textures just to make sure we're on track. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Oh, we have plenty. So in fact, we could even do this as the entire scale of it if we really wanted to. I say we do it right here. We're working from right to left. We'll kind of make it work. I could see that happening. Okay, it's going to be a bit difficult. It's going to be a lot like our Viper scale, actually. But anyways, let's continue forth and do a quick analysis. So, I guess we'll do one row just at the bottom. And it seems like the zigzag favors the rightmost one, so the rightmost one will be above. So we're going to kind of go like this. Probably go a bit bigger too. And then sharp cutoff because of the shadow above it. Then we're going to have our slices. So it depends on which one we're referencing from. This one is typically larger, it seems. And in fact, these aren't solid lines. I shouldn't have done that. These are more broken lines. They vary in width as well. Not by a lot, but they do. So yeah, it should be a broken line. We'll leave that as a note. And we also do have our spikes in the middle. They're going to have shadow either going to the left or the right of it, depending on where our light source is. So we're going to pretend it's over here. And let's do a side view real quick. We always like those. So our scale. It's going to be something like this. So sun's going to shine above it. And let's do a side view as well. All things considered, it's relatively like that. So there's a little diamond head at the end. And then it's going to carry over the shadow with it. And even though it's not necessarily like this, it's more just like this, right? It's not really a poke to it, spike to it. It's more of like a flat object, and because of that, we have this growing shadow over here because the height is increasing. And so we get this shadow resulting from it. Other than that, we do kind of have an above shadow too that these are curved, more or less. This is an exaggeration, so the shadow underneath this will be curved. So it'll start looking like this as we go to the left and to the right. So instead of this being a line, this should be a pattern like this, representing the form that's above it, obviously. And maybe we could even add like little bumps for the overhangs, because those will cast shadows as well. very light, very minimal. In fact, barely even visible, but that'll work. Yeah, other than that, let's see what else we have going on. Seems about good. These, as they wrap around the form, but this is kind of expected once we do our mesh. I really like the mesh setup that we've been doing. These will either get longer or shorter depending on their positions in the three-dimensional space. Let's lower the camera here just so you guys can get a better view. Other than that, though, I think we're pretty good. And we'll just continue doing this little example piece. So yeah, we're gonna have a, it's not gonna too crazy, right? And then we're gonna have the, maybe a little head in there. Reminds me a lot of my alligator texture that I did. Almost had a very southern accent right there for no reason. Alligator. There we go. And then we're gonna do the cast shadow from that again. And obviously that will, so yeah, the bottom of these will, these are flat, they shouldn't be like that. So in fact, I made the shadow a bit too big up there, so we're gonna focus on this side now. They kind of go down, so we're gonna go like this. And that's the hard shadow. The actual pieces will kind of be like this. Right? And this one is obviously a bit oddly misshapen, so we're gonna do that. Almost like teeth, that's kind of gross, but it is a bit like that. Oh, it really does look like teeth now that I said, oh my goodness, get this out of here. Grody, we'll fix it up. Bit like that. And the ones underneath that, they have a 1-2 pattern, so we're gonna have one right here. In fact, yeah, it's mostly a flat shadow. It's kind of, we do have to be wary of how big the shadow gets, because look at all that area I just filled in for something that was seemingly simplistic. So yeah, given our 1-2 pattern, something like this. Maybe the start of one of those down there, but nothing too crazy. Yeah, that gap was really big. I don't appreciate that. And also, these just look too teeth-like. I need to make them, they are just practically rectangular. I kind of overdid that on the other one. Other than that, though, I think we should make, so, notes. Less smooth, I guess. Yeah, we want them to be sharper. We want to be wary of the distance between. And then I want to decrease the size of spike shadows. I just feel like they're too intense. So we're going to recycle and just do this on the opposite side now and do another version. So ignoring what's up there, even though it's a bit difficult because it's like right there, you know. Do this. Yeah, really looking at the heads of those, as much as I want them to be, it is kind of just a linear, smooth kind of thing going on right there. Some of them have this texture right here. I'm not sure if you can see that on the display. Yeah, there is some light right here. So maybe we could do something with that. I don't totally think so, because that is still underneath and it still has a shadow over it, just a lighter color. So we may mess around with that regardless. And it seems like the lines are thicker at the bottom and then they really lighten up as they go up. Trying to like somewhat connect them at the top. And then we'll do our little scales very small. So doing that bit of a triangle to give it a sense that, hey, um, there is something there. So this looks kind of bland for now. It's not really satisfying me totally, but I think if we keep committing to it, it'll end up looking pretty fine. So I'm gonna go over here. We're gonna make the top line for the next one, because this form is a new scale up here. And we continue that pattern, so we have this one too. Initially, this isn't totally turning out to what I expected it to be, but I think we have to trust the process on this one. So we're gonna have some more of these, and since it's on this side, it'll actually be facing the right. Right? There we go. And now we'll do some more. And also, yeah, this one needs one as well. And this one's gonna be super light because it's basically facing the viewer. And so these will technically get darker as it falls away, including these lines between them. Yeah. Yeah, that will add more of a dynamic nature to what's going on. Same thing with the shadows. As you can see, it's very thin right here, and then gets pretty large over there. So we'll do something like this. Nothing too crazy. Actually, that's a bit crazy, but hey. So we'll have these now, and oh, that should have been the... Then it goes up. This one's going to be a bit thicker, like we said. No, we didn't follow the 1-2 pattern either. Man, we are really unfocused today. Let's get back into it. Slowly thickening them up as they go across. Oh man, yeah, this just seems really flat. Then again, there's not much else that's happening on this texture because it's a very dimensional texture. It has a lot of 3D going on. What I can do to the shadows is I can make a bit of a bump with the white part like that. Make it seem like it's hanging over a bit. I think that'd be a good little trick to do. So yeah, this can go like, oof. It's kind of forming into something. Thicken up those lines as they get further away. Forgot to do our 1-2 pattern. It's not the end of the world though. Remember, we're going to be on the right side here. Not the best, that's for sure. I'm not trying to connect it with those up there, thankfully. Because I feel like these dark sections are just a bit too heavy compared to everything else. Like, nothing else is that dark on the page, and so this is very sudden, very abrupt, not totally welcome compared to the rest of the, collection of the darker forms on the page. So going forward, we'll go up here, just do this. Yeah, see, this just looks like, I couldn't even tell you. The spikes on the side would probably help, and we'll do that, but still. We want to remember the 2-2 pattern, or remember 2-1 pattern. That'll help it look a tiny bit better. What's something that we consistently forgot to do? Oh yeah, this shape. Remember. In fact, it's more of a zigzag. So we were drawing it based off of this one primarily, right here. But the entire thing is more of a zigzag. So we'll keep that in mind. A zigzag with a slight like taper, like this. So keep that in mind. Other than that, oh yeah, I already put. Oh wait, yeah. So we want much lighter lines. Other than that, I think we're good for right now. So let's do a sausage form, do a mesh of it. So we are going to be creating this texture right here. So it's quite a lot of texture compared to what we usually do, right? Quite good. Oh my goodness. Good stuff. So yeah, we have these two contour ellipses. Awesome. And I'm thinking that, yeah, I mean, not just thinking, it's how I drew it. These lines are closest to us, obviously. And so yeah, we're just gonna do some contours. Then again, not much is changing. It's a pretty consistent contour line through and through. It only gets a bit wider through here. Maybe we can make it get smaller over here for visual effect. Do the ones in between that. This one's gonna get wider. This one's gonna get a bit smaller. There we go. Then we're gonna do some lines that kind of surround this on the opposing axis. So the closest line to us will probably be like this. Right? Yeah. Then from there, I like doing the edge cases because then they can kind of help inform us how to do the rest of them. There we go. So now that we have these, I feel like I did it in different colors in the past. I probably did. We are going to give it our best shot. So, this one looks pretty straight with us. So we're gonna do our little zigzag one with that middle line. We're gonna be very light here. Good, really good. And then we're gonna make that line trail out. I kind of dotted the line just in case I want to keep it that way. Do the same up here. Awesome. So this is our row of scales, and we're going to add first kind of. There we go. Second one, keep it consistent. I'm making these a bit blocky again. Also, they're rotating a bit. There we go. Kind of gives it some depth on accident, because I am. Ooh, we can do the spikes out here, and those kind of look like this. Should be a bit more flat. And we can correct that on this side. Yeah, it's gonna look like this a bit. Something like that. In fact, that's not that's gonna be in the midpoint. Oops. So we will continue. Do this. And do those V's. Add those. Right. Now here you'll actually start to see the edge of that form. And so shadow will increase as we get out there. Let's do the one below it. Why not? do the bit of the bend, and let's do a better one of these. Somewhat better. Maybe it could be a bit larger. For sure. Anyways. Break this one up. Need to add the shadow to the top. Shadow's going to kind of form like this. Just a tiny bit thicker down there. Oh, we didn't do our 2-1 pattern. We keep forgetting to do that. Also, yeah, our lines are kind of like, they need to follow the contour. They're kind of bending in the wrong way. That happened before and happened again. So yeah, we have this. It's a bit thicker. And we start to see the form of it actually come out. I think this is okay. It's not totally capturing. I feel like these need to be straighter. They aren't very straight right now. And they're more segmented. So like this is completely not even, yeah, that was excessive. I didn't think before I did it. Oops. Yeah, they're segmented. It's completely, they're really rotating compared to each other. So these, like, height-wise, they're doing this. So I'm drawing them like this kind of right now. Sorry. Like this, when they really need to be drawn a lot more like this. As a generalized, exaggeration. So we'll try to fix that up here. Do our little taper thing. That needs to be more exaggerated. It does look like a zigzag. Yeah, because this one's going to be stacked on that, so yeah. Exaggerate the zigzag. Do our contour. That's going to help us in the long run, kind of visualizing what's going on. And then we're just going to be more straight with it. No more curves, we're just going to go straight. And I did it again. I made that one thicker. I kind of like one in the reverse. Oops. Huh. And then it's going to cast a shadow underneath. Of course, we're going to have... Be careful with those horns. It's very easy to mess this up. Let's do one of the right side ones. Said we wanted to be straight, and we're already not failing on that. That's a horrible word to say. We're not doing as well as we could be. Positive self-talk, very important. Got about 37 minutes left. Man, I'm not gonna say we're crunched for time, but even with our little extra time that we have, it's coming a bit close. There we go. Then we could do one above it. Need to remember to exaggerate that zigzag. I think that's gonna be an important one. Do the 2-1 pattern this time. Why does the 2-1 pattern happen? It doesn't really, actually. I just kind of lied to myself. Because I was going to say, it's kind of impossible if you have a zigzag pattern like this. Right here, it kind of happens because of this weird shift that's going on, and then this special little scale before you go into these very horizontal ones. Which, honestly, I kind of wish I did the texture more than the zigzag, but the zigzag's quite fun. That's something to keep in mind. Also, my zigzag is very dark. And even though it's important to note that, I feel like our lines could be a bit thinner. Also, this pen, it's harder to do broken lines because I have to get it started first. It doesn't really, go onto the page that easy. Anyways, that's just another excuse of 100. See, look what I mean. I think it's just the direction I'm holding it. We want some stronger lines than the other one, that's for sure. So we're gonna add our That's pretty well. I like it. I'm not even sure if we want to do it at this point, like do a line right there. Yeah, I say we do no line in the center one. There, okay, let's really try. I said let's really try. Okay, whatever. Yeah, let's not do the horns. They're cool, but yeah. Actually, let's try just drawing one off the side. So we have like the side of our scale, and then it literally is kind of just a, and then like a tiny bit of is shaded because that's how it is. Like that's the form of it. I kind of like this one. It's like a tooth. So to do that one, it's a line, then like a pretty like that, and then we're gonna go under a bit, like that, and the shadow follows it like this. Meh, yeah, meh, meh. Not feeling it. So we're gonna get rid of that center line. We're gonna just put a little X on it. We don't want to draw too much over what we're working on. Other than that, though, I feel pretty good. I say we hop to the main page and start working. Be very light with our lines. I think it's ink heavy. This, whatever I did right here, I like what's going on. I think it's just because I really obeyed the form of the sausage. So without further ado, let's pull over our... I feel like I'm rushing today. I don't know why. Probably just making up for lost time because we went about 30 minutes over today. Even though I will be cutting out all the... I will sadly probably be cutting out the glitchy first part, but everything other than that, I think we should be good. Take a quick water break. Good stuff. Okay, let's do it. So we'll have a reference right next to us as per usual, and a reference in front of us, just to help us like think about what we're doing. I'm gonna keep this little note that I have right here. I'm not gonna write over the page. That's a bit dangerous. Just like to prep the pen, make sure like the ink is actually flowing, because that's been a bit of an issue so far. So without further ado, we can actually start this by doing our contour. So we'll do just that. And so yeah, we're gonna have the scales go down this way. Let's practice before we do that. The scales down here, because the scales down here. It's cold. I'm gonna roll up my sleeves a bit. Remember we said we were gonna exaggerate those. These are gonna have. So yeah, we'll do. In fact, these are gonna warp more and more inwards like this, I think. And then these are gonna poke out a bit. That was a bit much. But yeah, something like that. We'll make sure they're sharp too. So the ones down here. Something like that. Of course, they'll cast shadows. All that goodness. In fact, a lot of it will be shadow because the overhang above it will be quite visible, you know, doing its thing. Cool. Okay, back to it. Also, I really like how this turned out, but then again, I'm better at textures like this than most. Sorry, I just hit my mic. But yeah, let's get to it. So we're down here. Put this over there. Good stuff. Okay. So this actually is angled a bit down, and this is so like the form's kind of going like this a bit. Like my hand's a bit big, but you know, like this. Yeah, kind of. Not fully. That's an exaggeration, but that's what the form is tending to do. It's about to. So they're gonna be really they're gonna be up here. They're gonna be really like this, and then they're kind of swoop under, and we'll see more of the shadow. So shadow is gonna get bigger as we go down there, and then it's gonna go like this. So like a roller coaster, start flat, go up, go down. Yeah, so this contour line is a bit of a lie. It's not totally, its minor axis, actually its minor axis is somewhat parallel to the point right there. Just there's a lot of changing and shifting right here. This is going to be a difficult one to put this kind of texture over, but we definitely have the ability to, so let us continue. I'd say the midpoint is probably about right here. So we'll do our first zigzag. Look at our reference quite heavily. Use our ink prepping paper. That's fun to say. Nice. To the bottom part of the zigzag. Remember, we did want to make this a bit dramatic. And we want broken lines, not weak lines, so we have to remember that going forward. I say that's pretty consistent. We'll do this one over here. Oof. Not much room there, but that's okay. Do yet another zigzag. That was quite large. Follow off of that. Another zigzag down here. Ooh, large, large, large. Big boy. Okay, whatever, it's fine. Oof. Could be like a little messed up one. Plus we have lots of rooms to work when we actually shade this too. Or shade it more, I should say. Because these lines are cast shadows. Am I doing the zigzag right here? This one, oh, whoops, went a bit inside, that's fine. You can make it work. Yeah, I could do something with that, it's fine. So yeah, this isn't totally aligning with that one, so what we can do to fix it is on this zigzag, we can now start obeying it. And now these are going to shrink more and more. Height-wise. Because they're getting smaller as they wrap around the form. Okay, that's probably a bit too much, but that's fine. There, okay. So we have this weird looking, I don't know, it looks like a cocoon almost. And we're going to work with that, bring the camera a bit closer. Wow, that was like a very mechanical zoom. Hopefully our camera is adjusting properly. Looks like it is, awesome. Okay, let's continue. Keep my little, I like my little paper that I've just been dabbing on. Prep the pen with the ink. So, going to, there's not going to be really a shadow above this one. We're going to do our very sharp lines, like we said. Which seems unnatural to do for something like this, but I think that's the best way to do it. Make sure it's contour. So, do one right here. Good. I'm going to keep a somewhat even amount on each level. Mostly just compared to the one above it. This one's like an accidental 2-1 ratio. yeah, these lines aren't totally making me happy. That was the issue with the first one, is that they aren't converging correctly, or like, you know, doing the right thing. Yeah, they need to be more curved, I guess. I was really focused on making them straight, but as they get closer, they should be less and less curved. I did that yesterday quite well with the squares, but this one, so yeah, this one needs to kind of do that. Oops. Yeah, I guess that design will only get more prevalent here because we're getting much more dynamic with these lines. Something like that. I'd be really good at drawing like lizard things now with all these scale textures. There we go. Still can't say what this looks like, but it doesn't look bad, so that's good. Now we just need to add, thicken up the lines as we go along. We're not going to do the inner one like we said. We'll just do a very light. This. As we go along, thicken up that line. Do another one right here. This one's going to be like that. Then again, these lines being dynamic isn't a huge priority. I just want to add it because it adds like a detail, you know, as it gets away. But these primarily just, there's no shadow there. They're pretty like level plates, so they're not going to be casting that many shadows on each other. I'm just adding it for detail. Any shadows that do exist will be emboldened, I should say, by the change in direction. So pretty good so far, liking it. These are going to cast a shadow. Not a huge one yet, but very visible one nonetheless. So here we're going to add shadow right there. Good stuff. You can add like a, let me imply that something's there, you know. Yeah, next one, pretty good. Yep. We don't even have to add one there, just bite the pattern. Oh, oops. Did that line wrong a bit initially. Thicken up this. Thicken up that a bit. More won't fix it. You need to remember that. Definitely learned our lesson with the Quano. Ooh. Okay, we're going a bit fast. Let's calm down. Let's take a quick water break. I'm making more and more mistakes, so we're gonna calm down a bit, take a quick water break. Awesome, back to it. Oh, tall. Maybe we need another water break. Kind of make that one a bit bigger because it's closer. Do a dot right there. Awesome. Okay, we're gonna add the shadows underneath these. Increase a tiny bit from the last. Just the tiniest bit. Good. Oh, I really want to add those spikes on the side. We'll see at the end. We'll see at the end. If I really like the texture, probably not, because I won't want to ruin it, but those spikes would look awesome. Making good on time, too. See, our knight... Okay, I don't want to jinx it now, but our knight did recover, despite the rough start. That's how you choose to end it, right? Thicken up those lines a tiny bit. Very cautious with them. Not going to overdo this one that time. Things are starting to shrink as we get closer and more angled downwards. And I mean, these little... That one's overdone. We can't really fix that one. Little triangles, little spikes to the outside to imply that these are overhang. Nice. Add our shadows underneath, increasing them a bit more this time, as you do. There we go. That was quite thick. Got quite thick quite fast. There we go. Yeah, and these are going to get shorter because they're bending now. You can see that. Yeah, this is kind of there. We're just going to let it be there. Maybe the, I almost want to say pangolin because I did do pangolin scales and this kind of reminds me of it. Not penguin, but pangolin. I can't remember where I was getting at with that. Turned out pretty good so far. I like it. Add our dynamic shadow. Here's the weird tricky. Oh, that was a very thick shadow. I guess we're doing that now. Is that the forms are decreasing, so the shadows will decrease, but the shadows are also increasing because these are rotating further away. There's more of an overhang, and I just accidentally did that one way too large. Probably because I didn't rather annoyingly say, hey, let's do these small again. Just be a bit more mindful. We also haven't been thinking up the lines, so we'll do that too. Good stuff. Yeah, I forgot to do that up here as well. Good. Looking decent so far, I like it. Picking up these lines. It's gonna get really dark and crowded down here, but I kind of like that with some of my textures. Not that one, not the guano. But it just shows, oh, there's a lot going down here, so of course it's gonna be darker. Add our new shadows. These are gonna be smaller. Oof, bit of a jump there on accident. Made it a bit bigger than I wanted to, but that's fine. In fact, I feel like this should have taken up the entire thing. They shouldn't have gotten that small fast, but we'll manage. In fact, this is going to overhang, right? Over those newer ones. That little overhang is just going to become more and more visible as we go on. Yeah, it's, like I said, it's getting about crowded down here. So yeah, now what we're going to do, it's like looking at a nose from above. Especially this one. There you go. Okay. We'll add a bit of a shadow underneath that as well. Don't want to overdo it. Can't say how many times I've overdone it. There you go. I don't think it looks more plant-like than let's zoom in a tiny bit. Looks much more plant-like than an armadillo lizard. Not spiky enough, I believe, because you know, should we add spikes? Let's see. What would look like correctly done? So in this case, the main characteristics is that it's like out and I think it wouldn't look bad, just it's a very tricky thing to nail. Out and think mastering the coming back in, because coming out we can kind of do this like outwards taper, out, you know, like this. And then coming back in, I guess we could do another inwards taper and just fill up that bottom part a tiny bit. Okay, this can be tricky, this can be ballsy, this could ruin it, but I think to learn textures and better understand form, we should do this. So, small, it's gonna be a small detail. Not bad, not bad. Oh, doing on this side may be a bit difficult. Man, that's gonna get cut out of the stream. Earlier, I was talking about how I got a new diffuser or like air fragrance thing, and it smells exactly like I was obsessed with Legos when I was younger, and it smells exactly like whatever scent my family had in the house, because we've always had these air freshener things back when I used to do Legos, and it's such a whenever it gets released in the air, it's such a strange and just sudden revelation. But man, we did it with the spikes. I'll add one down here just for funsies. Kind of like that one. Other than that though, there is always kind of like a thicker shadow right here for some of these. Oh man, I really just put that in the page without thinking about it. That's dangerous. Now we're gonna kind of just mess around, did a bit more. Here we go. Okay, no more touching. Tiny bit more touching. I feel like this is a bit empty, so we're gonna. Cool. And let's name it. Let's pull up the name on Google just to make sure we don't. Armadillo lizard. Scales. That's a lot of words. Armadillo. A. R. M. A. D. I. L. L. O. Lizard. L. I. Z. A. R. That's a very fancy Z. Good job, me. Scales. S. K. Oh, I said K and I wrote C. Whew. L. E. S. I was doing like the phonetic K. So yep, armadillo lizard scales. Look at that. What a wonderful job. We've really, so if you like, look at this, some awesome textures. If you do that, oh, that's literally what happened there. It looks like a nuke went off and some kind of mutation happened. Craziness. So we do have 12 minutes remaining, which would perfectly set us up for 10 o'clock. But given how long the stream was, I think we may just cut it short today. We did technically draw for an hour, and part of me is guilty, like, oh, it's not the official hour, it's not the technical hour. In fact, who cares? I'm still gonna be awake. I have plenty to do after this. So what's a little more to enjoy ourselves and do some more boxes and stuff like that. So, let's do it. Don't know what to do, but we're gonna do something once it comes to my head. I hate to do just another box. We'll do a Frankenbox. Why not? For those who don't know, Frankenboxes are just my way of saying a box, but I take cuts, I take little things out of it, change up the form. Maybe make like a cool map, or like a house or something, I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go along, and look how terrible that was. Frankenboxes aren't typically the most rationally defined things. See, I didn't even check if this ever converges, which it does, thankfully. Does it? Yep, just very slowly. A lot more friction, a lot more grip on this table. But yeah, what a way to kick off a Monday. Seems like my internet finally got fixed. I am so thankful. Those people are very kind for answering my call at so late in the night and dealing with a somewhat grumpy Cav. Really do appreciate those people. Tech support are amazing. I'm not just saying that because my career kind of converges path with that. Frankenbox is making me think a lot, man. Not much to say. Just kind of reviewing my day in my head, you know? What I did that I liked, what I did that I didn't like too much. Very good to spend some time in review, you know? No one's perfect. We make mistakes, but no one's horrible. Or horrible. Sometimes we're horrible, but you know. We can always improve. And we can always appreciate when we did do things that were the correct thing to do. Making this sound dramatic, Jesus. You know, just like, oh, could have done this, you know, could have parked better or something. Nothing, I didn't murder a man today, I promise. I don't think so, at least. Man, yeah, that was an awful. Oh yeah, this is a Franken box. What should we do to this box? I want to add like a. I want to emboss it, or like add an extrusion through the center of it, which means we're gonna divide it up. So I'm gonna just go half like this, just kind of do it by eye. I mean, this is all by eye, right? Cool. And then I want, yeah. So if I'm gonna add a box in the middle, and my nose just suddenly got really stuffy. Maybe it's that fragrance thing I was talking about. Cool. We're gonna add another group of lines actually. I'm gonna subdivide it again. Fun stuff. Oh geez, right there. I've been also dreaming up of ideas. Dreaming up, that sounds so intense. Of making these more involved. These streams more involved, but that would require Discord, and we obviously don't have plenty of people for that. And plus, just go to the Drawbox Discord if you need to get in contact with me. But yeah, like, what could I do to involve more people in the process of making art or just doing the things they love? If you guys have any cool recommendations for like point systems or things like that, please let me know, because I'd love to hear it all. This one's going to be nearly parallel. I like the phrase that Uncomfy said, that we're not going for perfect, we're going for near perfect. You know, we're not trying to get like, don't obsess all day about convergence or things like that. Once you have the general idea of how you want it to look, and it's obeying all the necessary characteristics that your error now won't, increase to a huge error later. Like, if you're using a line and that line was poorly constructed, that all lines after that based on that new line won't be horrible. Stuff like that. Yeah, I'll do it correctly. Here's a Frankenbox, and we have all the time in the world too, so all of, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, yeah, so. Wow, this really goes out here. Oh, geez. Yeah, so we're gonna connect this line instead. Yeah, so that connects to that. Weird. Whatever. These are, yeah, that should be very much like that. Whatever. See what I mean with that error? Because I based off of this line, and this line probably isn't correct for whatever reason. This one was pretty much spot on. Being able to intuit convergence points and stuff like that without much thought is a very cool skill that I can't wait to learn. Or get better, improve upon. And of course that's improved upon by constant practice, which we're doing an excellent job of, especially on this channel. But yeah. What was it doing? Yeah, drawing these lines. So yeah, that would converge there. That would converge there. Not converge, but intersect there, I should say. This looks really weird. I'll thicken up the lines that I need to later. Basically what I'm trying to do is just put a nearly square hole through the center, and I'm pretty sure it's failing so far, but hey. It's practice, it's fun. What am I doing? Okay, yeah. We're locked in. My focus may be waning, but we're doing our best. Yeah, there we go. It makes sense because this is going to be smaller because the profile is more online with us. Remember, with our ellipses, when we're looking straight onto ellipse, but when we look away, or it moves away from us, it does this. So this is a pretty good representation of that. In fact, we could turn this into a cylinder, but I feel like that'd be a bit too chaotic to see. Actually, screw it. Why not? We love a little bit of chaos. Yeah, these lines are doing some weird stuff. Yeah, it's like tilted. Oof, that's weird. Anyways, let's do a circle. This Frankenbox is all kind of Frankenboxed. I don't know. Let's go slow and make sure we're all good form because there's not much room to work with here. So I don't want to do that many passes. We'll do another. Okay. And we'll do one pass down here. Horrible, but that's okay because we only care about the surface lines here. Really thicken up those. This is where having sizes greater than 5mm would probably be helpful. Oof. But I only have the Drawbox pins because those are awesome. Please support Drawbox if you guys can. Because people like me can do it for free, even though I pay for critiques and pins. Kind of paying the maximum amount to do this, but I love it. And I hope that anyone who gains... it would be funny if I had like use code CAV, but it's free. I don't think I'd ever want to take a sponsor for Drawbox. They could have all the money they want. But it really does seem like they don't do it for the money entirely, so. Now, do they want money? Yeah, who doesn't? You probably need money to run their website, Discord, all that. Crazy that so much of it's out of pocket. Ups to them, man. But yeah, this is a bit of a wacky zany ellipse thing going on here. We're going to do a stylistic choice here, as much of them are. In fact, this line is supposed to be convergent with this one at the same rate this is. It almost is, but something's going on there. Craziness. We could analyze it all day. From far away, it actually looks almost passable, but we know what's going on, truly. 2 minutes left. How much of a stickler am I going to be? Can't really do another Frankenbox. Maybe we could take a chunk out of this. In 2 minutes, let's do it. Oh wait, I already kind of... So we have to take a chunk out of the inside if we want it to work. We could do a square right here, so kind of do like... There, make this converge. I completely lost like where... Oh, I actually made a dot on the page too. Is this... Perfect. And then we'll carve out, like, I guess this. What iconic music. Probably because we listen to the same thing every day. Once again, apologies, but I'm too scared to fight big scary YouTube on DMCA stuff. Maybe one day we can make our own music. That'd be quite fun. What we could do here is instead of making it go through the other side, we can cheat. Do something like that. Let's add some to this, so this a bit. I don't know. We're just filling it up with stuff at this point. 17 seconds. I think we should call it quits there. Awesome stuff, guys. So, despite the, and it will take me a bit to edit this, so I apologize to those who have to watch the unedited version before it gets to YouTube. But thank you very much for joining me today. Let's do a quick review session. We had a great start on our lines, and our ellipses were a bit wobbly today. You can only have one or the other. Convergence-wise, not my best. We always have that one kind of straggler line, which always kind of happens. Weirdly enough, that straggler line is not my interior line so much as it is my second defined exterior one. So, and ironically, that one's easier to fix. So, in fact, this one informs this one. So I don't know how that happened. It somehow happened. Whatever. Yeah, wobbly ellipses. Had some good analysis. Initially, I wasn't too sure about how this looks, and then we got a better one up here. Messing around with the form a bit, finding what works, you know, artistically, and then of course we finally did do a pretty good one over here. Decided to add our spikes, implemented it on. Oh my gosh, implemented it on the page so well. I'm talking so fast because I'm tired. It's 10 o'clock, you know. And then yeah, did a cool Frankenbox. We had a pretty successful day. Convergence-wise, this box is all over the place. We're not going to get into that. Looks cool, but yeah. So without further ado, thank you guys so much for joining me today. Once again, apologies for the internet delay. It seems like we got it fixed. Only had to call my ISP. That's crazy. But yeah, so successful day. Nothing of note. We're going to try to stream tomorrow and every single day coming. Thursday and Friday, we're going to try to invite some Drawbox people here. It'll be a blast. It'll be fun. And yeah, so thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a good one.